Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. Today I'm going to be doing a full face of makeup, including some first impressions using Root Cosmetics. The only product that I will not be using that is Root is going to be my Alima Pure Eye Primer, but everything else that's going on my face is just from Root. And I have a couple of first impressions, and one of them is the Root Concealer in the shade Fair. I've never tried one of their concealers. I also am doing a first impressions of their pearl powder. I've used it as a powder before, but I am going to be mixing it with water for the first time ever. I've never done that, so that will be a true first impressions of using it in that application. And also, I just got the Wanderlust eyeshadow palette, and so you will be seeing me use this for the first time ever, and it happens to be on camera. If you would like to see how I got this look using Root products, be sure to stay tuned. The first product I'm going to be starting out with today is the Root Pearl Powder Foundation. I have the shade here in N2, and I had samples of C1 and N1, but they were both a little bit light for me, so hopefully this will work. I have already gone ahead and mixed this with some water, and I'm going to apply it wet. That is one of the ways to apply it to get more full coverage, and right now I need a little bit more coverage. So I'm going to pick up my mixed foundation on my Beauty in the Base brush. And I'm just gonna apply it like this. Oh, this is working really well actually. I like this. This is my first time applying this powder wet. So I just wet it with a little bit of water and mixed it in the lid. The tricky thing though is trying to get the right consistency. That took me a few tries to kind of get the consistency exactly where I wanted it. So yeah, that's a definite downside with doing this, is it takes a little work to get it where you want it to. Actually just had to go and mix a little bit more. That's the tricky thing with this, is it's hard to tell exactly how much you're going to want. That was not half bad, although I do have to admit that it is a little bit easier to apply when you get a thicker consistency, or you mix it and you let it start drying for a minute. It's easier to apply it. But I have to say the coverage is pretty darn good, and this is not a bad color match. N2 seems to be a little bit dark for me, but N1 was a little light, so I feel like I really need to kind of mix the two, which is annoying, to get the right shade. So that's not my favorite, but we're gonna work with it. This is what we've got. I went ahead and picked up a sample of the Fair concealer, and I'm going to be applying that today. I've never used this before, so this will be a true first impressions of this concealer. And I am going to be applying it with my little eyeshadow brush that I always use to apply concealer. That works throughout the day, but so far I really like the color, the coverage, and the consistency. I found it gave good coverage, the color is really nice, and it actually blended pretty easily with my fingers, so that was really nice. I'm now going to take my damp sponge. This is an EcoTools sponge, and just blend it out a little bit so that I don't have any harsh lines between the concealer and my foundation. But yeah, I am excited to try this concealer out more and see how it wears, because this seems really nice. And the nice thing, if this works well, is Root has really affordable products. So this could be like a really nice, more affordable concealer. So it's off to a good start. Next, I'm going to bake with the Root Setting Silk, and this is not my favorite setting powder. I've talked about it before, but it is a setting powder, so it's better than no setting powder. So I'm going to be going ahead and baking with this today. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of spot concealing on my face. Once again, I will be using the Root Prime and Conceal in Fair. Really well for concealing acne, so I'm gonna have to give it more of a test and definitely see how it wears throughout the day. But this, so far, great first impression on this concealer. Like, I am very impressed. I also am liking the finish that this foundation has and how it is drying down. I think that is also really nice. I feel like this foundation could be really great for travel too, because it is a powder. You don't have to put it in your liquids bag, and you can just mix it with water when you get there. And the other nice thing about this powder foundation from Root is that it does contain, I believe, either zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. So it does provide some sun protection as well. While we're letting everything dry, I'm going to go in and do my eyes. I'm going to be using the only non-Root product that I'm going to be using in this tutorial, and this is the Alima Pure Eye Primer. The only kind of eye primer that Root has is this concealer. I've tried in the past using concealers, and they just don't work at all as an eye primer. They just slide off my eye because my eye is so oily. So I'd much rather be safe and give the eyeshadows a fair test using this eye primer. One of the reasons I recently went ahead and made a Root purchase was to get this. And this is the Root Wanderlust eyeshadow trio, and it's really cute. It comes in this little Z palette with 3 of their single pans. These pans are not available individually. You have to buy them in this palette. They have 2 Root palettes out right now. They have the Wanderlust, and I can't think of the name of the other one. The other one is definitely more of a pinky toned. And I went for this one because we all know how I feel about neutral brown shades. And that's kind of the funny thing, is I really didn't need this eyeshadow palette because I have a million brown eyeshadows because that's what I love wearing. But this eyeshadow right here is named Cat with a K, like me. And I got so excited when I saw that. I was like, I kind of have to have this eyeshadow. I'm actually going to start off by swatching these 3 for you here. So I've got this light shade over here. It's kind of a creamy shade with a little bit of metallic. This is the shade Roxy right here. The next shade over is Farah, something like that, and this is how Farah looks right there. And the third shade right here is Cat, and that is a beautiful kind of metallic warm brown shade. So very, very pretty colors. I'm really excited to use this palette. But I'm going to go ahead and start off by dusting my eyes with the Root Setting Silk to set the eye primer and also make the eyeshadows blend out really easily. I have been finding lately that using some sort of translucent powder really does help blend eyeshadows so much easier. So I'm going to be picking up the Setting Silk on the Miss Shady Lady brush from MOTD Cosmetics. I'm going to pick up the shade Farah on the Blending Bestie brush and just kind of dust this in the crease and also bring it onto the lid a little bit. So I am getting some kick up with this shadow. This is my first time using this palette, so I'm getting some kick up, so I'm just tapping off my brush. That way I just don't get too much eyeshadow everywhere. Now I am going to apply Cat to kind of the outer third of my eye, and I am going to use the Furless ME5 brush. Wow, I'm really loving the shade Cat. Like, this is beautiful. I really love this eyeshadow color. I'm going to pick up the shade Roxy. I think I'm going to apply it kind of heavily in the corner of my eyes and then kind of lightly blend it up and into where I have Farah, and not bring it all the way over to where I have Cat, but just kind of blend it up in this area. We'll see how this works. And I'm going to start by applying it to the inner corner with the No Fudge Just Smudge brush. Take a little bit of Farah and then a little bit of Cat and smudge that along my lower lash line. And as you notice, I baked with setting soap, but unlike when I baked with the RMS powder, like there's nothing left to dust away. It kind of just absorbed in. So I actually can't see anything to really dust away, so I'm just gonna leave it like this and go ahead with doing my lower lash line. So I'm first gonna start off with Farah and then go in closer to my lash line with Cat. Sorry if you missed a little bit of that, my camera cut off, so I'm not sure exactly where it cut off, but it cut off somewhere while I was kind of doing my lower lash line. So I ended up keeping I ran Farah along the whole of my lower lash line, and then I took Cat kind of more on this outer corner of my lower lash line. As you can see, it looks more metallic on the outer corner of my lower lash line, and that is from Cat. I am really liking this eye palette. It's gonna be a lot of fun to play with. I'm actually taking a short weekend trip down to Florida to visit my parents, and so I think I'm gonna bring this along and have this as kind of my eyeshadow palette along there. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply the Root 100% Lash Mascara. I really love this mascara. If you've not tried it, you really should pick it up. I heard Tashina Combs from Logical Harmony describe it as false lashes in a bottle, and like that is the best way to describe it. Like, this is a really good mascara if you want a lot of drama and just like, I don't know, it looks like you're wearing false lashes. It's pretty crazy. So I'll let you guys be the judge of how you think it looks on me, but yeah, it's really impressive and it doesn't irritate my eyes. It stays really well. It's not waterproof, but it's not like, if I get in the rain or I cry, it's not gonna be all over my face. So it's not perfectly waterproof, but it's waterproof enough that I don't have any issues with it. I am going to go in and do my eyebrows. I'm going to use mostly the Root Brow Pomade in Ash Brown, and then I'm going to do a little bit, just kind of do some hair-like strokes with the next darker shade of the pomade. I don't know what the shade of this one's called, but the next darker of the Root Brow Pomade, because I kind of need both shades. I'm going to apply a tiny bit of the Root bronzer in Bronze. Once again, this is a case of a bronzer being a little bit too dark for my skin tone, so I'm just going to go in with a tiny amount and just kind of knock this off. And I like to use this bronzer as a little bit more of a contour than a pure bronzer, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'll just kind of take it along right under my cheekbone and just do a tiny bit of just give my cheekbones a little bit of definition. So I'm actually ending up applying some powder because that bronzer, normally I don't have an issue with it blending, but it was not wanting to blend very easily. And so now I'm going ahead and putting on some powder along my cheeks so that when I do blush and highlight, that is going to blend. I think I'm just gonna powder my whole face. Ugh, I can't go without powdering. I have an obsession with powder. I definitely recommend hitting a little bit of powder on your face before you go ahead and use a powder product if you are wetting that foundation. I have a sample of the Root Sadie blush. I got this as a sample with another purchase. And I love this blush. This here is the Root Sadie blush, and I just absolutely adore this color. And it's got a lot of shimmer to it, so it gives you a really nice glowy look on your cheeks. I'm going to be dusting this on my cheeks with the Furless MF1 brush. Blush brush is still a little bit damp from washing it last night. I didn't realize that. So this is applying a little bit weird because of that, but sorry. Today is just one of those days. I'm on a little bit of a struggle bus this morning. So I'm just gonna grab my powder brush and just kind of blend this out a little bit. Now I'm going to be picking up some of the Root White Gold highlighter, and I'm going to be using the Root Set and Illuminate brush. This is the only brush I have from Root, but I love it and I really need to get more. So if you've been eyeing the Root brushes, I highly recommend them. I mean, based off just this one, the bristles are super soft, it washes really easily. Even though it is a white brush, I don't have any issues with staining. The Root White Gold Illuminator is a really pretty illuminator. I think it would be a little better on someone with a slightly darker skin tone than me, but it does work well even on me. So here's what it looks like. And as you guys have been noticing lately, I like to take this up towards my brow and really get a nice kind of glow all over the side of my face here. I'm also going to dust a little bit of this on my Cupid's bow. Yeah, look at this highlight. Like, if you are looking for a pretty beaming powder highlight, I definitely recommend the Root White Gold. And the nice thing about it too is it is very affordable. For lipstick, I'm going to be using the Root Pretty Balm and Gossip. I do have one of their Root lipsticks. I have the shade Jenny, but it is definitely more of a fall shade. It's kind of a deeper purpley color that I love for fall and winter, but for the summer, I really like this Root Pretty Balm and Gossip. It's super, here, I'll swatch it here. It's like super hot, kind of pink color. It's just really fun, but because it is a balm, it's a little bit more sheer, which I find is definitely more wearable. I wouldn't wear a lipstick this color, but I can get away with a balm this color. Also, this is a tip if you're like me and your lips don't have a lot of natural pigment. I highly recommend getting a lip balm or lip gloss in a dark color, like a hot pink or a red, because I find that those give my lips a lot more color. If I try and go for something really light, like a light pink, then I just don't get enough color on my lips. I hope you enjoyed this video. So I'm really impressed, especially by this eyeshadow palette. I'm looking forward to using it some more. I'm also really excited about this concealer. I think that this has so much potential. Like, this is really great. And this powder foundation was really nice mixed with water. I mean, you saw the coverage it was giving me. So it was giving me some really great coverage. These are the kind of like first impressions of this video. I will obviously let you know down in the description bar down below how these ended up wearing throughout the day. And you know, if I really love them, you will probably be seeing them too in a monthly favorites. And if I really hate them, you will probably also see them in the flop part of my monthly favorites. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and check out some of my other videos. You might like those as well. And also be sure to check out my Instagram. I'll have my handle down below. I'm at Naturally Beautiful Girl. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye!